Hey everyone, it's Ladon. I wanted to share with you a bit of information regarding nonprofit financial management around silent auctions. Now, many nonprofits incorporate silent auctions into their overarching fundraising goals over the course of the year. And silent auctions are a really great way of raising additional funds in alignment with your annual fundraising events and even some of your smaller events throughout the year. But what we're seeing is that a number of nonprofits, especially small to mid-sized nonprofits who are not aware of some of the financial rules, are making some really critical mistakes when it comes to accounting for the funds received through their silent auction contributions. So in this video, I want to share with you a few tips to help you to better manage your silent auction contributions so that you don't get in trouble if you're audited or if you have a firm that needs to come in to just review your records, okay? So one very important thing it's important to do when you're planning your silent auction is to develop a silent auction contribution form, and you should be attaching that form to your silent auction contribution letters so that when you send those letters out, your potential donors have the form, they can commit to donating to your organization right away, completing that form, and then either sending you a gift certificate or sending the item to you, or you can arrange for pickup. On that silent auction contribution form, you not only want to provide information relevant to how they can get the item to you or who to contact to arrange pickup of the silent auction item, but you want to make sure you capture some very important information like the name of the donor. Now, sometimes that information is pretty straightforward, especially if it's an individual. Where it gets a little bit sticky is when your donor also has a small business, or maybe they work for a large corporation who is maybe sponsoring your event. So in those situations, it's very important to be really clear about who the donation is being received from. Is it coming from the small business owner as an individual, or is the contribution being made in the name of their small business? Also, if you have donors who work for large corporations, you want to make sure that you understand again whether it's coming from them as an individual or whether it's coming from the larger organization. And that happens many times when you have perhaps a member of your board, maybe their organization for which they work is serving as a sponsor for your event, but the silent auction item may be coming from your board member. So it's really important to talk to them about, in whose name the item being donated. The next piece of information you want to make sure you capture is, of course, the address information and contact information. So you want to get that street address information, any P.O. boxes, and you also want to make sure that you capture any relevant telephone numbers and email addresses. The reason that's really important is because, of course, you want to follow up on the silent auction contribution and thank the donor for supporting your event in that way. The other reason this information is really important is because you want to have it for future years. So if they donated, at your annual event, you want to make sure that they are incorporated in the contact list you have for your event next year or any of your subsequent fundraising events, so that they receive invitations or they're on your email distribution list and so forth. So the address information really does serve a dual role. The next piece of information you want to make sure you capture is the value of the item donated. So you want to make sure that your donor inputs that information. If they don't provide the information, you want to have someone from your staff just reach out to them to obtain that information. The reason that's key is because you will share that manufacturer's or retail value in your actual silent auction. Your silent auction form or sheet should reflect the actual value of the item. The next piece of information you want to make sure that you capture, and this will be an activity assigned to one of your staff members or your silent auction committee, is to capture the opening bid for the item, the bid increments for the item, and then also you want to make sure that you capture the final bid amount for each silent auction item. Now, the first two items I mentioned in terms of the opening bid and the bid increment, you want to have that for your own information. It isn't really relevant to finances, but it will help your silent auction committee in future years because they'll be able to see, how popular certain items were and how many bids were received for certain types of silent auction contributions. That will help to inform that committee's decisions about the type of items they go after in subsequent years to help you raise more money for your fundraising event. It's important to capture the final bid amount for that item because that number will figure greatly into your financials. Now, once you have completed that form, you'll want to have a member of your staff enter all of the contact information from the donor into your system. You're going to make 2 entries into your accounting system for that silent auction item. The first item is going to reflect the information about the donor. So you're going to enter their name, address, company, all that information. And then you're going to enter the value of the item donated. Now, you're not going to enter that amount, that dollar amount into the receivable. You're going to enter that into a notes section, okay? So in the receivable column, you're going to enter a $0 amount because you simply received an in-kind contribution, not a financial contribution. And you're capturing financial contributions in terms of numbers in your accounting system. So where do we enter the value or the dollar value received for your silent auction contributions, right? Well, you will enter that once the auction closes. So once your silent auction has happened and you have sold all of your items, you will capture information related to who purchased the item. You're going to make a separate entry into your accounting system for, that contains that person's name, their address information, how they paid for the item, and then the final amount of the bid. Okay, and then that's what you're going to put in the receivables column, the final amount of the bid, because that was the actual money received for that silent auction contribution. That's why it's really important to make sure that you manage your silent auction donations and the financial aspects of those contributions really carefully and appropriately so that your financials appear in alignment with what you actually received for that event. So I hope that information is helpful. If you guys have any questions, don't ever hesitate to leave me a message, email me, or leave a note below. I would be happy to answer any of the questions you have, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.